See, the United States has one of the biggest biotechnology apparatuses in the world, which includes hundreds of biolabs in the United States and in other countries where they're conducting a variety of operations. It's not very clear, for the most part, what these operations are, since the United States, while it has signed the Biological Weapons Convention, has never accepted a verification program. That is, no inspections can be done on these U.S. labs. In the case of Ukraine, a number of these labs discovered that all the experiments and most of the material had been taken out of them by the occupants who had quickly left the labs at the point that the Russians entered the country. But they did find paperwork and other material indicating that there was work being done on dangerous elements. But what would be necessary, of course, is to have inspection teams actually go in and take a look at it, so that these labs would not lead to the outbreak of diseases or something like that. But the fact that Ukraine was used since 2014 and earlier by the United States as a military bulwark against Russia, building up the Ukrainian military forces and giving them the equipment necessary to possibly fight a war against Russia, which is now occurring, the question rises whether or not they may not have also given a certain capability to possible biological warfare. The U.S. says it isn't the case, but it's very difficult at the present moment, and with all the history behind it, to really trust what the United States is saying, especially since former CIA Director Pompeo said that
I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. We had entire training courses.
So we have to get some kind of clarity on this, and the only way we can do it is if the international community begins to take an interest and try and get some kind of clarification and proof from the United States that the claims are not true. The U.S., considering itself as the rules maker of the world, usually demands that other countries do as they say and not as they do, and they don't always hold themselves to the same standards that they're demanding of other countries. So it creates that element of uncertainty as to what the U.S. is doing in this area of biological research. And I think to the extent that the U.S. is also conducting a conscious policy of splitting up the world into two groups, creating more tensions and more conflicts, this becomes an even greater question because that element of trust tends to diminish at the point that the U.S. indicates that it is waging a partisan battle against certain other countries. And so I think that increases the insecurity and perhaps even the danger, depending on what's going on at these labs, and can only be resolved if there are inspections, but also can really ultimately only be resolved if the policy of trying to divide the world and not bringing it together remains in place.